If you want to build AI agents, Anthropic created this article end of last year explaining how you can build effective AI agents. In this video, I will explain 4 of those workflows and will show you how I implemented these patterns into 4 n8n workflows that you can download. In this article, they categorized Agentic system into 2 parts: workflows and agents. Workflows are predefined path they can follow, and agents are more autonomously, they can perform tasks dynamically based on users' input. First agentic flow is called building block augmented LLM, or some people call it RAG, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, where you have LLM in the center, and then this LLM can have access to external data using some query. It can retrieve. It could be database or an API endpoint. And then based on information it retrieve, it can perform some actions outside of LLM using tools. And then it can have access to memory for previous conversation. It can pull it as a context and perform some output. All of the following workflows, they can have only LLM, or they can have either of 3 or all 3 of these components. So the first workflow is called prompt chaining, where after user sends their request, first LLM generates an output, and you can have a conditional block here. A simple if-else condition can be used here to determine maybe if the LLM response has certain number of character, or if it has a specific JSON field. Based on that information, then you pass it to next LLM, and then once the second LLM gives a response, the response goes to third LLM, and then finally it generates an output. I implemented this workflow for generating article. Instead of asking first LLM to generate a blog post, I ask first LLM to create outline of that article based on the topic I send. And then if I see if it returns a outline, then I pass it to second LLM, where I am checking the outline has certain number of criteria based on the user's input, and then also instructing it to how to do some SEO, how to improve SEO. And then final LLM, based on that instruction, final LLM generates the article. Next workflow is called routing, where you pass your request to first LLM, and then that LLM will decide which LLM to call next. The example I created is for generating social media content, one for Instagram caption, one for Twitter or X post, and another one is for LinkedIn post. So first LLM decide what's the intent of my request, and then it pass it to a specific specialized LLM, and then next LLM has instruction for individual social media post, and then it finally I get one response from either one of those LLMs. The last workflow is called parallelization. In this workflow, user's input is passed to multiple LLMs parallelly, and then after each of those response comes, then a aggregator, it could be an LLM or a function, where it then combine those response and then generates a final output. So the use case I built is I pass customer feedback as input, and then first LLM classifies customers feedback theme, second one analyze sentiment, and third one finds a summary, pain point summary, and then pass it to a aggregator LLM where it decides what to do next. If the urgency of customer feedback is high, then it will maybe pass it to human agent. If it is low urgent, then it can tell user that we created a ticket and we will contact you next. Here are 4 N8N workflows are created: workflow parallelization, routing, reg, and prompt chaining. I have included link of these LLM workflows into my website. You can download from here. Let's go over each of these one by one. First one is reg workflow. It has 2 steps. In the first step, it will download a sample PDF from internet and store into a vector database. In this case, I am using OpenAI's embedding. Let me show you the statement how it looks. I found it from internet. It could be any PDF document you can upload, which LLM will grab all the text and save into the vector database. And in the next step, I created a AI agent where it has access to the vector store. In this case, the both vector store has same memory key, so that it knows how to retrieve it from there. And then it also has a simple memory where it can store last 5 conversations, and it can answer from there. And I am using OpenAI's chat model, GPT 3.5 Turbo. You need a credential for that. Let me show you how it works. So let's say I ask agent, what was the statement balance? So now you can see it retrieved from the vector store, and then it gave me statement balance on June 5 was 10,500. And you can see these are the steps it followed. Next workflow, which is prompt chaining. This flow, first one generates outline of the article based on whatever topic you will pass. And then if there is any response from the model, then it will send it to next LLM for outline review and improvement. And finally, it generates a article. I also created another node where this node doesn't have any prompt chaining. You can connect it directly to that node to see how LLM responds without any prompt chaining. And you will see it has huge difference. So let's ask LLM to generate an article. I can say AI will not replace human. Human with AI knowledge will replace another human. I wanted to create an article based on this topic. So now it is sending it to outline generation LLM. And in this case, I'm using Open Router chat model. While it is running, let me show you which model I'm using here. In this case, I'm using DeepSeek R1 free model. And when you go to Open Router, you can see all models here. If you want to use for free, in this slider, you can set to free, and I sort to top weekly, and then I select one of those top models. I'm using right now this model. All you need to do, just copy the model name and then come to your Open Router model here, and then enter the model name directly here. So looks like now it sent request to next LLM where it is reviewing the outline. And let me show you what is the prompt for this line. Here it says whatever response you get from outline, you check for SEO optimization, logical probe scenario, and any redundant points or not. And then finally it sends to the last LLM for generating the article. Let's wait a moment to see what article it generates. Okay, it generated an article. The article title, it is, they call it "Why AI Won't Steal Your Job, but Your AI Savvy Colleague Might." And it created very nicely into different sections and with bullet point. Let's go to next workflow, which is called routing. In this workflow, I created 3 sub LLMs for generating Instagram caption, Twitter or X post, and finally LinkedIn post. And here, the first LLM will decide which LLM to pass your request. For example, I am asking it to generate a Twitter post. I'll say post Twitter about AI will not replace job, only human will. So now first LLM is going to decide this topic. And if I open it, you will see here I am asking LLM that based on the user input, categorize it one of 3 options and then pass it to the next one. So looks like it is done. And here it says, and we can see that it only called the Twitter X post generation LLM, and here is the LLM it generated. All right, the last workflow is called parallelization, where I'm passing customer feedback into 3 LLMs at the same time. One is for theme classification, one is for sentiment analysis, and last one is for pain point summarization to figure out exactly what customer is asking. And then once all 3 LLM response comes here, then the aggregator LLM doing some action. So let's ask LLM something like, I cannot log into my account, tried 10 times. Now my account is blocked. Please help. Okay. So even though it says all parallelly, but N910 doesn't perform parallelly, rather it's performing one at a time. But because of this merge node, it's not going to send everything, and whenever it comes, it will wait for all 3 LLM response, and when everything is generated, then it will send it to the last aggregator LLM. And now looks like all 3 generation is here. Okay, all done. So based on customer feedback, here is what LLM is responding. Thank you for contacting us. I'm truly sorry to hear that multiple login attempts led to your account blocked. And then it's saying, I will transfer you to human agent right away, immediately, to speed up things. Could you please share your email link? And then it also generated a case link where it's categorizing theme as account lockout, sentiment negative, pain point as repeated login attempts have resulted in a blocked account, preventing access entirely, and urgency is low. Let's say I say, where can I find download statement button? So it's a question, not necessarily any negative feedback. Most likely it will detect as neutral because it's a question, not any opinion. All right, here is the responses generated. It says, thank you for reaching out. And then it gives instruction how to download. And then it says, at the end, created a case summary as neutral and low urgency. And the point it generated, the customer cannot find download button for the statement, needing guidance on its location. So these are the 4 examples I created. Feel free to customize it and use it for your use cases. And let me know if you want me to add any more workflows, or if you need some explanation, send your comments down below. I will see if I can add more workflows into this essential pack. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and see you next time.